Mario was doing pretty well for himself by 1989. Super Mario Bros. Was a smash hit, the sequel exists, the other sequel is a thing, and Nintendo had just released Super Mario Bros. 3 in Japan. However, the plumber had no time to rest after 4 hit games, as he was now tasked with his biggest challenge yet: replicate the exact same success, but on significantly inferior hardware. With Nintendo dominating the home console market, they turned their attention to making portable game systems with interchangeable cartridges, starting off with the one and only Game Boy. Of course, the console would need some killer titles to launch with, and with Mario being Nintendo's biggest IP, it was the best choice next to Tetris. There was just one small problem. A good chunk of the Mario team was busy making Super Mario Bros. 3 at the time, and thus Nintendo turned to Gunpei Yokoi to produce a Mario game for the Game Boy. Gunpei Yokoi is a legend in the world of Nintendo, as he's often credited for creating the Game Boy, the Game & Watch line of handhelds, Metroid, Fire Emblem. He was responsible for a lot of Nintendo's best works, and it's a shame that he was taken from this world far too soon. In April of 1989 in Japan and August in America, the Game Boy launched, and at the start of its life was Super Mario Land, which would sell 18 million copies. Nowhere near the best-selling game on the handheld, but it's to this day the 10th best-selling Mario game, which is impressive for a game that's only 30 minutes long. Yeah, I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. A major reason as to why we're looking at both Super Mario Land 1 and 2 for this video is because of just how short both of these games are. At least it's just 2 games and not something like 3 or more.
There are 3 Mario Land games? You know, Super Mario Land 3? Wario Land?
Well, he said it. It's a Wario game, not a Mario game. See, it says right here it's a Wario game, not a Mario game. It's not a Mario game. Idiot! Now go stand in the corner and wait for your cue. Anyway, let's start off this doubleheader of a video with Mario's first ever outing on a handheld system. Far away from the Mushroom Kingdom is the distant Sarasa Land, which is comprised of 4 separate kingdoms. One day, an actual space alien named Tatanga comes down and abducts the princess of Sarasa Land, Princess Daisy, as he wants to marry her. Mario somehow learns of this and leaves his home of Mario Land, yes, Mario has his own land, to stop Tatanga and rescue Daisy. Here we go in clean black and green as we start off our journey in the Birabudu Kingdom. Immediately, some things become apparent, mainly the controls. If you've played any other Mario game, then this might take some getting used to. Mario doesn't really have momentum when moving, instead he just starts and stops, which can make him feel a little jittery compared to previous entries. This also applies to his run, as he pretty much goes from 0 to 100 on a dime. The jump feels consistent at least, although I don't like how it feels so gimped if you aren't running when you go to jump, which did cause a few deaths for me. We're also back to SMB1's logic in a lot of areas, so Mario can't grab stuff like shells, and the screen won't scroll to the left at all. I presume that even though this did release after Mario 3, since these were being made by separate teams at the same time, they likely didn't communicate much during production, and that's why we're back to the first game systems. This also applies to taking damage, as Mario reverts to Small Mario no matter if he has a Super Mushroom or a Fire Flower. No, wait, the Fire Flower isn't in this game. While, yes, the Super Mushroom is here and functions just like before, the flower power-up in this game gives Mario a unique ability, the Super Balls, and yes, that's really what they're called. This will fire a bouncy ball projectile that bounces off of everything and can even collect coins, which is pretty neat, but the downside is that only one Super Ball can be active at a time, and these things feel like they take an eternity to despawn. The star is also here and grants Mario invincibility for a short period of time. That's an odd choice for music. Actually, if I'm going to talk about odd choices, then let's delve into the fact that Mario and the Super Mushroom are really the only Mario things here. Almost nothing from the NES games are here, which leads to this game feeling like the black sheep of the series. For starters, no Princess Peach or Luigi, which, okay, I can understand Peach not being here, but Luigi? He's been in every Super Mario game up until now, even in the games that didn't have multiplayer. You would think that some of the enemies here are the same as the ones from the Mushroom Kingdom, but these aren't Goombas, they're Goombos. And these Koopa shells, they explode? Okay, since when did turtles explode? Honestly, it leads to this game feeling like a cheap knockoff of a Mario game to me. I can totally see this on a TI-83 calculator, and I wouldn't even bat an eye. I suppose that might not be a 100% fair assessment, but that's just how I feel. Instead of sliding down a flagpole or grabbing a card, we have to enter a door at the end of the level, but there are 2 doors here. The lower one just advances to the next stage, while the upper door lets us play this bonus game for a chance to earn extra lives or Super Ball Flower. Just keep that ladder in mind, as Mario will automatically take it if he can. The Borobudo Kingdom seems to be Egyptian themed with all the pyramids and sphinxes that dot the land. This is of course the first world, so expect these first few levels to be pretty easy, which I am all fine with given the stiff controls. 1-3 takes us into a dungeon which has these booby-trapped ceiling tiles that will try to fall down and crush Mario. Oh hey, coins and a mushroom I can... oh. Well, at least they had the common courtesy to leave a suicide pit. At the end is our first boss fight, King Totomesu. You can just damage boost through him if you're able to hit the switch that's behind him. And hey, we've already rescued Daisy. Oh, son of a bitch! A fucking princess fake out, this is fucking bullshit! Next is, did Mario come here in a flying saucer? Anyway, the Muda Kingdom is the water world of this game, except we really don't go underwater until level 3 and... wait. Do the worlds only have 3 levels in this game? Huh, that's an odd number. I suppose this is due to the cartridge space combined with this being a handheld game, but still, what an odd number of stages per level. One thing I can definitely commend this game on is the enemy variety, as each world has its own set of unique enemies to go with them. Yeah, the Goombos and the Koopas are in every world, but still. At the end of this world, Mario takes control of this submarine called the Marine Pop for a shoot-'em-up section. This feels so out of place, but I honestly don't mind it that much. The boss here is this seahorse named Dragon Zamasu. Anyway, just shoot him enough times and break these blocks to press this switch, and we rescue not Daisy, again. Eastern Kingdom is our World 3, and this is so clearly based on Easter Island if the background and flying Easter Island head enemies didn't tip you off to that, and oh fuck, that actually startled me. Those little fucks, they just come charging right at you. God, what are those things called? Toko. Okay, did you just not translate any of these names into English or something? Mario goes underground for 3-2, and oh my gosh, there's spiders everywhere. Oh, and they're jumpy little bastards too. The last level of World 3 is definitely the most treacherous level yet, with lots of tricky jumps over bottomless pits, and at the end is the World 3 boss, Hiyoihohi? Anyway, you can just damage boost through him like the World 1 boss if you feel like it, and get faked out again. God damn it! Okay, you know what? That does it. When I find Tatanga, I'm gonna curb stomp that motherfucker. The Chai Kingdom is, China, apparently, with the bamboo in the background and... no, that is just a person. Hang on. Okay, what is this enemy called? Pionpi. No, I draw the line here. There is no fucking way anyone saw these enemies and went, yep, that seems right. This is just straight up a martial artist person who you can just stomp on. Yeah, you don't kill them, it just stuns them for a bit. But what the hell? You see what I mean by cheap knockoff? I know how Mario should go. I've been playing these games for over 2 decades now, and this threw me off so much. 4-3 sees Mario take to the skies in the Sky Pop in yet another shoot-'em-up section, where you have to avoid these birds and bomber planes. At the end of the level is this cloud called... I'm not even gonna attempt to pronounce that. No, you can't make me. After shooting the cloud enough, Tatanga emerges in his spacecraft and begins to fire these large balls that split into 3 smaller balls. This can be tricky, but my tip to you is just focus on maneuvering Mario between the projectiles while firing off as many missiles as you can. After taking enough hits, Tatanga's ship is destroyed, and we rescue the real Princess Daisy, with her and Mario boarding this spaceship together as they fly off into the sunset, ending Super Mario Land. Yep, we're already done with the first game. I wasn't kidding when I said this game was only 30 minutes. It only has 12 levels, and those levels can take 2 to 4 minutes apiece. This does have a hard mode that unlocks after beating the game, but I didn't bother to play it, not only because I just wanted to jump to the next game, but I also just didn't enjoy myself that much while playing this. The controls are my main sticking point with this game. They're far too stiff for my liking. I like my Mario to have some looseness to him, which can make pulling off tight jumps satisfying, and I just don't get that feeling here. This game does have some charm, but not a whole lot. Graphically speaking, it's fine, albeit on the simpler side, but again, cartridge limitations and whatnot, so I won't fault it for that. To be fair to this game, it was a trendsetter, as 2D Mario would find a nice home on Nintendo's handheld systems in the future. Now, I want to ask you guys a question. Did you notice that I was referencing something? For those of you who have been on the internet for as long as I have, does the name Brentalfloss ring any bells? Well, I've snuck little bits of his If Super Mario Land Had Lyrics song throughout as a bit of a nod to the bald bastard. He made this in collaboration with another YouTuber, Team and Tomato Dave, where they go into a debate if Mario Land was good or not, and in case you couldn't tell, I fall into Brent's camp here, but honestly, no matter how you feel about this game, they do agree on one thing in the video.
Either way, the sequel was better.
So let's dive into that sequel. Pull the lever, Palkia! Wrong lever!
I'm sure she's fine.
After saving the day in Sarasa Land and returning Daisy to her home, Mario heads back to his own home of Mario Land, only to find that the entire place has been taken over by an evil creep named Wario, who put the whole land under a magic spell, and to make things worse, Wario removed the 6 golden coins that act as the key to Mario's castle, and gave them the 6 boss monsters throughout Mario Land. Mario now has to gather the coins back and give Wario a well-deserved eviction. Super Mario Land 2 6 Golden Coins released in October of 1992 in Japan and a month later here in America. And what's interesting is that this would wind up being the final classic 2D Mario game, as this was released after Super Mario World on the SNES. From this point onward, 2D Mario was relegated to just ports and remakes until New Super Mario Bros. On the DS in 2004. That's not to say that Mario was absent from home consoles, just with the release of Super Mario 64, Nintendo shifted focus to 3D games as the major releases for a while. Also, just like the first game, Shigeru Miyamoto had no involvement with this game either, as it was once again spearheaded by Gunpei Yokoi. So as the final classic 2D Mario game, did Super Mario Land 2 stick the landing, or was it a poor misstep to leave things on? Upon starting, we choose our save file and that water is mesmerizing for some reason. Anyway, we start the first level, which acts as a tutorial level to help newcomers get their bearings, and yes! This is a Mario that I can control! He has actual momentum now! He can grab objects once again, and oh, he has the spin jump from Mario World! His jumps are a bit on the floaty side, but I'd argue that there's a good reason for that. Look at the size of these sprites compared to the first game. As a result, I do very much appreciate the more floaty jumps, as it does make corrections more easy to do. I think all of this coalesces to form a Mario that feels really nice to control, a stark contrast from the first game, that's for sure. It's shocking to see just how much they improved here, top it off with Mario now having his abilities from SMB3 and World, and this leads to him feeling very capable. In terms of power-ups, the Super Mushroom is here, as always, and the Fire Flower is back as the dominant flower, although it has taken up classes in Native American appropriation apparently. To be fair, it's just a feather. It's not like Mario's donning tribal face paint or anything. The star also returns, but now it has this neat addition where if you chain enough enemy kills together while the star is active, Mario will start to earn extra lives, so rack up as many enemy kills as you can because hearing that 1-up jingle is satisfying. New to this game is the Carrot power-up, which grants Mario bunny ears. By mashing A when in the air, the bunny ears will flap, causing Mario to hover in the air, and you can get some serious airtime with this thing. I suppose this is to make up for it not having a spin attack like the Super Leaf in Mario 3. Something that's off with the power-ups in this game that I've noticed is how they interact with each other. Collecting a Fire Flower as Bunny Mario switches him over to Fire Mario, which makes sense, but collecting a Super Mushroom as either Fire or Bunny Mario will revert him back to the normal Super Mario state for some reason. It's made even more odd by the fact that this game abides by the Mario 3 damage system, so getting hit as Fire or Bunny Mario reverts him back to Super Mario and then to Small Mario. Another bizarre change in this game is coins. That being collecting 100 doesn't grant a 1-up like in every other Mario game. Instead, you just keep going until they cap out at 999. Instead, you can take them to this casino and play around as slots for a chance to earn more lives. A new mechanic is this enemy counter that when you defeat 100 enemies, a star will spawn, allowing you to blast through enemies and earn even more lives. I only got this to occur once, but still, this is a cool mechanic that I don't think ever comes back. Levels now have a visible checkpoint bell that will store Mario's progress in a level in case he dies. Finally is the end goal of the levels, which is just a door like last time, however now there's only one door, with the trigger for the bonus game being this bell that hangs high in the air above the level exit. There are 2 bonus games this go around. First is this crane game where you can get any of the game's power-ups, or most likely a 3-up. You can move the crane with the D-pad and press A to lower it. You are almost guaranteed to win something here. No joke, I only failed this bonus game once in the entire playthrough. The other bonus game requires Mario to press one of these switches to send a spark up these wires to earn a power-up or an extra life, but these mice will destroy one of the horizontal wires, which can block the spark from going where you wanted it to go. This bonus game feels more like a game of chance than the other one, but it at least doesn't have a fail condition, so you're guaranteed to get a reward with this one. Once the tutorial stage has been cleared, we can freely move about Mario Land, and I mean that. We have 6 zones to tackle, and you can take them on in any order you want. This does lead to each of them having a very similar difficulty, but this game isn't hard by any means. Honestly, the only difficult thing about some of these levels is that they'll require you to jump over bottomless pits that, due to the small screen real estate, can be a little tricky. You can at least scroll the screen up and down with a D-pad, which definitely helps. I decided to go clockwise and start off in Tree Zone, which has Mario climb this giant tree where you start off at the roots of it and wind up in the branches and even a bee's nest for one level. I did like the second level where you're inside the tree and have to jump through what I believe is supposed to be the tree sap, although why are there cowfish swimming in here? At the top of the tree is our first boss fight, Big Bird. No, not that Big Bird. This is a crow that swoops down to attack and is easily defeated with the bunny ears. With that, we reclaim the first of the 6 golden coins and make our way to the next zone. By heading to this hippo on the map screen, we can enter this level where we have to jump into the hippo's snot bubbles and navigate to the upper part of the level where we enter Space Zone. The moon level here is your standard low gravity level, but I must say I enjoy the spacesuit Mario adorns in these levels. The other level here is so low gravity that just by pressing A, you can ascend infinitely, and you need to do this to weave through this star minefield. This level goes on for fucking ever though. Top it off with it's an auto-scroller, and this ended up being one of my least favorite levels in the game. Tatanga? He recovered quickly. He's definitely one of the hardest bosses in the game since he shoots out these balls that go down, then move over to where Mario currently is, and then shoot back up and explode in the fireworks while also firing off these energy blasts from his front. It leads to there being a lot to keep track of in this fight, so don't be too upset if he kills you repeatedly. After ensuring that Tatanga likely never returns in any Mario game ever again, we recover the second golden coin. Up next is a Macro Zone, where Mario is shrunken down to the size of ants and then has to navigate this massive house. Well, really it's an average-sized house, but because, you know, Mario's a... Anyway. What's interesting is that I found this alternate path in the first level that took me to a secret exit that then unlocked a secret level that, once it was beat, cleared a direct path to the boss stage. While not every zone has a secret level, most of them do, and it adds some replay value as well as reasons to explore these levels. This fucking rat called... Oh wow, he's actually just called Sewer Rat. We'll run in and out of these pipes and occasionally make a run up the walls to try to dive at Mario. Honestly, most of the difficulty from this fight stems from just how fast the fucker moves. He's a slippery little bastard that probably smells like his own shit, as well as the shit of the people who also live here. Stomping on the rat will earn Mario the 3rd coin as we progress to... Hey, do you guys want to know what happens when you put a trans girl and a pumpkin in the same room together? Anywho, Pumpkin Zone is the spook area of this game, complete with boos and reskinned Goombas that wear hockey masks with a knife or a machete sticking out. There's even a vampire at the end of the first stage here. Something I'm definitely glad to see got carried over from the first game is the sheer amount of enemy variety. Yeah, sure, some enemies are just previous ones with a different paint job, but a large portion of them are unique to each zone. At the end of Pumpkin Zone, we face this witch who will attempt to kill us by lighting a fire under her cauldrons that will then cause the lids to fly up into this spiked ceiling. Unfortunately for her, this is probably the second easiest fight in the game, so with her out of the way, Mario collects the 4th golden coin. Our next destination is Mario Zone. Okay, wait, so Mario had a giant robot statue of him erected in his land? I mean, I'll accept it. Just odd that Mario gets a land, a zone, and his castle all named after him. Meanwhile, poor old Luigi gets nothing. Speaking of Luigi, where is he? Does Wario have him? Is he trapped into the castle? Did Wario kill Luigi? Mario Zone sees Mario traveling in the innards of the robot, climbing gears, avoiding saw blades, bouncing screws, you know, the usual. What's cool about this zone is that the map alters as we progress, as we first enter through Mario's shoe, and then we, alright, crotch level. Why is it balls? Oh, those cheeky fucks, they knew exactly what they were doing when they made the crotch level the ball level. The level after that has these cranes that, oh geez, that can't be comfortable for the poor old guy. Oh god, look at this thing after we finish climbing it. Mario looks like he's been violated. The boss stage, okay, no, these are just Lego. You can't fool me. Well, actually, Nintendo used to make a LEGO competitor way back in the day, which is what these are supposed to be, but who cares about that? The boss fight is against the 3 little piggies, which makes this a 3-stage boss. The straw house one will just roll around, the wood house pig will bounce around, and the brick house one does the same but will jump really high as well. After all 3 have been defeated and prepared for a certain wolf to come by later, we can reclaim the 5th golden coin and make our way to the last zone. After being eaten by a giant turtle and shat out into the waters below, we enter Turtle Zone, which is just the water level of this game. I must give my compliments to the second stage, however, as it takes place in a sunken submarine that actually requires some thought to navigate. The boss stage is something though. Mario enters the inside of a whale and has to avoid touching its rib bones as they can actually damage him. The last zone boss is this octopus who will squirt out its young to attack us. Unfortunately for it, it's dead now! With all 6 golden coins recovered, the doorway to the castle opens so we can finally head in and give Wario the boot. Wario's castle is the deadliest level in the game, and I mean that. There is a sizable difficulty spike with this stage with all these swinging balls, piranha plant statues that fire out energy blasts, booby-trapped floors that will activate these crushers, and all of the lava traps in the area. Be careful when going through here. Finally, we come face to face with the Twisted lookalike who immediately goes on the attack. The first phase is pretty hard as he runs back and forth really quick and butt stomps the ground, which can stun Mario for a bit and cause these pots to fall down. Phase 2 sees Wario equipping a carrot for his own pair of bunny ears. He'll jump up before slowly descending and then slamming down like before. After that, we have Wario cornered, where he then takes a fire flower for himself as we engage in the final phase of the final boss. Wario will shoot out these large fireballs to attack Mario, with us just needing to jump on his head 3 more times, and just like that, he shrinks in size, revealing Wario to be... He tosses his shoe at Mario before escaping, with the red plumber chasing him out of Mario Land. The spell Wario placed on the castle is broken, as it reverts to Mario's castle, ending Super Mario Land 2, 6 golden coins. Definitely a bit longer than the first. If you know what you're doing, this should still take you no longer than a couple hours or so. But wow, talk about a major improvement over the first game. This makes Mario Land 1 feel like a demo that was meant to show what a Mario game on the Game Boy could be like. It's insane to think that there was only about 3 years between the two, and they improved this much. The much more fluid controls makes this so much more enjoyable, not to mention the game feels more in line with the rest of the series. Plus, this introduced Wario. Aside from that, the whole game is really fun and deserves its praise. Is it the best 2D Mario? No, but it didn't need to be. As for being the final classic Mario game, it did its job pretty well as a nice send-off to this era of the series. Like I said earlier, after this, there wouldn't be a new 2D Mario game until over a decade later, with the series really focusing on 3D, starting with none other than Super Mario 64. But before that, there is one game that I have not covered yet, as we kind of accidentally skipped it by doing both Mario Land 1 and 2 together in one video. So I hope you'll join me next time as we tackle Mario's 16-bit debut, Super Mario World. Subscribe if that sounds interesting to you, and leave a like and a comment should you choose. With all of that said, I hope you have a great day or night. Peace.